right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's Fit Crew workout, we've got a nice 20-minute sweat fest for you here. We're going to be doing as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes of 15 calories on the bike, 10 toes to bar, and 5 sets of a dumbbell complex. And we may be looking at this thinking, this seems kind of complex to me. I don't got a bike. I don't got a bar. Don't worry, guys. It's not about what we don't have. We're going to warm up really well, and we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it right where you are, using what you do have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and hit this general warm up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I'm a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's switch to arm circles forward. And what does living your best life mean to you? And how does fitness fit into that picture? Put simply, why do I need fitness in my life right now? That's what I want you to think about as we warm up. Let's move on to some high knees. High knees into chest. And while we're doing this, let's go ahead and hear from Twin One. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and why do you need fitness in your life right now?
Hi, I'm Denise in New York. I definitely need fitness for my volunteer work that I do. It's very physical. I'm up on my feet. I have to carry heavy things, and it's to help others. So I think being fit and being able to help others is awesome. It's an awesome feeling to be able to do that.
I agree 1,000%, and I'm sure everyone you're serving believes that it's awesome as well. So thank you for using your life in such an awesome way for a noble purpose. Let's go ahead and move on to the wrist wave here. And while we're doing the wrist wave, let's hear from Millicent. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and why do you need fitness in your life right now?
My name is Millicent, and I live in Chicago. And I definitely need fitness in my life because I'm older. And as you get older, your body tends to slow down, get crampy and achy. When I do this fitness, it allows me to stay loose. It allows me to have a more quality life. And I'm able to do volunteering things that I like to do. I'm able to walk further. I have the stamina, and it helps me to be able to go up and down the stairs with ease. So I really need this fitness because I know that if I stop, it won't be so nice. So I want to stay as loose and able to move around as possible.
And thank you, Millicent. Once again, so glad that this program helps you to do what you got to do, to be where you got to be, so you can serve who you need to serve. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we can do some wrist extensions like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Team DNA across the pond. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and why do you need fitness in your life right now?
Hi, everybody. It's Dean from London, England. I mean, who doesn't need fitness in their life? I think that's the question, really, isn't it? Because if you think about it, without fitness, really, you know, like Millicent said, you know, your body would just get flop and get old, and you know, not that it does anyway. But you just need fitness to keep going. Really, everybody needs it.
Very well put. Very well said. So thank you, Dean, for staying young at heart, working your way through this fountain of youth. Let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks here, or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so why do I need fitness in my life right now? That's the first and most important question to answer if we really want unshakable resolve and dedication to this program and to get true results. We dig deep into this question in the Committed Club Academy, along with diving deep into the science behind the habits that we go after, why we need to drink water, why we need sleep, why flexi time is so important, and then, of course, what we do in these WODs, what we do, why we do it, how it works so well. So if any of this sounds interesting, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for details. Let's take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first thing we're going to do is some single leg raises. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 single leg raises for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to do some single arm raises like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 total single leg raises, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are pointing those toes, and especially in the warm up here, the slower the better here, guys. We want to go all the way up, getting to about 90. And we're doing all 5 reps on one side before switching and doing the last 5 on the other side. And so good job here on these single leg raises. Next, we're going to do some straight leg sit-ups. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the straight leg sit-up for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then that straight leg sit-up is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the straight leg sit-up together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying on our back and we are going to swing those arms for momentum, reaching toward the toes, touching those toes if possible, but otherwise just kind of reaching as far as we can. Then going all the way back, getting those shoulder blades on the ground. And then from the seated position, reaching as far low as we can, getting all the way back up, reaching back at the top. But good job here on these straight leg sit-ups. Next, we're going to do some single leg glute bridges. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the single leg glute bridge for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that single leg glute bridge is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the single leg glute bridge, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're going to get one leg up. We're pulling the other foot super close to the hip there, squeezing those glutes, getting the hips as high as we can in the air, getting higher and higher each rep. And we're going to do all 5 reps on one side before switching, and then doing all 5 reps on the other side. Now, if doing this off one leg is a challenge, then we can do the traditional glute bridge with both legs. Let's have twin one demonstrate a couple reps here where we got both feet in to those glutes as close as we can, squeezing those glutes, getting higher and higher each rep. But good job on these glute bridges. Next, we're going to do some Supermans, and let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 Supermans for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those Supermans are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of these Supermans together. So on these Supermans, we are laying face down. We've got those arms out in front of us, legs back, and we are raising those arms and those legs, holding the top there for about 2 seconds before coming back down, engaging the full posterior chain of the body there, both the upper and lower musculature. And so good job here on these Supermans. Next, we're going to do some stepping mountain climbers. So let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the stepping mountain climber on each leg for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the stepping mountain climber is going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 stepping mountain climbers. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're in a nice plank position and we are taking a big step forward, slightly to the side, getting the foot outside the hand at the top, and then fighting to keep a good plank position, meaning we're keeping those hips nice and low, but we're stepping as far forward as we can. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit of a challenge, in which case we could do this off of an inclined surface. And let's have twin one demonstrate a couple reps here off the wall. It could be off the wall, it could be off a counter, it could be off a sofa, but we're going to do some incline knees to elbow if doing this off the ground is a bit hard on the wrist there. A good job on these mountain climbers. Next, we're going to do some plank shoulder taps. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the plank shoulder tap for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the plank shoulder tap is going to look like this. So let's join in and let's do 10 plank shoulder taps on each side. Now, on these plank shoulder taps, we're in a nice plank position, keeping those hips low, squeezing that gut. But then we're going to take a deep breath in, brace that core, shift the weight as we tap the opposite shoulder. Now, it could be, like we said, doing this off the ground is a bit hard on the wrist, in which case we could also do this off of an incline. Let's have twin one demonstrate here. This could be off a wall, a counter, a sofa, or whatever the case, but we're going to shift that weight, tap the opposite shoulder from the incline position. And so good job on these plank shoulder taps. Next, what I'd like you to do is let's go ahead and grab a light dumbbell if you have one. By light, I mean 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. If we don't have a light dumbbell, then any common household item will do. It could be a pair of shoes, it could be a pair of water bottles, it could be a couple pillows, it could be a couple teddy bears, whatever the case. We always start super light before we go heavy, if at all. So with this light pair of dumbbells, let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the dumbbell deadlift for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those dumbbell deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the dumbbell deadlifts. So at the start of the deadlift, those dumbbells are going to be on the ground, right outside the feet. We're going to have those hips super low. but we've got the chest up, shoulders back, looking straight ahead. And we're going to take a deep breath in to brace that core as we drive the ground away, getting to a fully standing position with those shoulders back at the top. And then, of course, we're going to brace that core on the way back down as well. And so good job here on these dumbbell deadlifts. Next, we're going to do some dumbbell power cleans. Let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the power clean for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those power cleans are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the power clean. So that power clean is going to start in the same position as that deadlift. The dumbbells are on the ground right outside the feet, but then we are going to jump those dumbbells up to the shoulders. We're using the power of the legs and the hips to jump that up, flipping those elbows to get those dumbbells in place on the shoulders. And notice how the dumbbells are going up in a straight line. We don't want those dumbbells to get way out ahead of us. And so for that, we are using the power of the legs, flipping those elbows in order to allow them to have that nice straight path right up the side of the body there, getting the dumbbells from the ground up to those shoulders. And let's really fight to point those elbows together, both forward and up at the top. And so good job on these power cleans. And finally, in the activation phase, let's do some front rack lunges. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reps of the front rack lunge for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then for today, for the lunge, we're going to do single arm strict press like this. Just for today's workout. So let's go ahead and hit 10 reps of the lunge. So on this lunge, we've got those dumbbells on the shoulders in the front rack position. We are pointing those elbows forward and up, and we're holding onto the handle from underneath. It's tempting to let that rest on the shoulder there, but we want to have a nice firm grip on those dumbbells. And then we're going to take a big step forward, slightly to the side for stability until that back knee touches the ground. And then we're driving through the foot until we can get all the way back up. Now, if this movement is very challenging for us, getting that knee to the ground, then we can choose to do step ups instead. Let's have Millicent demonstrate a couple reps here where we have a step riser or a footstool or a step ladder or even some stairs, whatever is a sturdy option for us. And we're going to get both feet up, both feet down, alternating legs each time. And so good job on these lunges, or from the seated position for today, alternating overhead press. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 3 moves that we're doing in today's workout. The first move is going to be the bike. So specifically, if you happen to have an assault bike or a Rogue Echo bike, what I'd like you to do is to hop on that bike for 1 minute. And we're going to do a 1 minute intensity test to see how many calories we can get in that minute. But most of us don't have these machines. We are the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the bike that preserves the stimulus of pumping the pedals and pumping those handles. 1 mountain climber and 1 plank shoulder tap on each side is going to equal a calorie on our body weight bike. So to be clear, let's have twin 1 demonstrate 2 calories on the body weight bike. That was 1. That was 2. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then each calorie is going to look like this. That was 1. So let's all join in here and let's do 5 calories on our body weight bike. So a couple things to notice here. We were stepping out those mountain climbers in the warm-up, but at this point, if we want to jump them out like we see twin 1 doing, that is completely fine. But let's also remember that we have the step as an option as needed. Now, if we were doing the mountain climbers and plank shoulder taps off the incline in the warm-up, then we can continue to do that here, just like we see Millicent doing the incline knee to elbow on each side, plank shoulder tap on each side, and that is completely fine in order to do these from the incline position. And so good job here on this bike. The second move that we're doing in today's workout is toes to bar. And the toes to bar usually involves a pull-up bar, and that's going to look like this. And that is a very high-skill gymnastics movement that does take us a lot of time to develop. What we're going to do is we're actually going to do an at-home modification for the toe to bar. Whether we have a pull-up bar or not, this is actually a good warm-up before we hop up to that bar. We're actually going to do toes to broom from the laying down position. So I'd like you to grab a broomstick or a mop or a PVC pipe, and let's look on as we practice these toes to broom. And let's have twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the toe to broom for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the toe to broom is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of the toe to broom together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying on our back and we've got that broomstick in our hand with our arms outstretched behind us, and we've got the toes pointed, and we're going to take a deep breath in each rep to brace that core and reach the broomstick toward those toes at the top and then lower on the way back down. Now, if doing this with both legs is a bit of a challenge here, then we can do the single leg variation. Let's have twin 1 demonstrate a couple reps of the single leg toe to broom. And that's where we're going to raise one leg at a time, alternating legs each time, reaching toward the broom there. And this is especially going to be a good option if we're not able to reach those toes or at least the ankles with both legs. Let's definitely do this single leg variation. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then with the added challenge of having our legs together, we're going to reach toward those toes at the bottom and then reach all the way up at the top, keeping those arms as straight as possible throughout the movement. And so good job here on these toes to broom. The third move that we're doing in today's workout is a dumbbell complex, which is actually a combination of different moves. It's going to be a combination of that dumbbell power clean right into one lunge on each side. So to demonstrate, let's go ahead and have twin 1 show us 2 reps of this dumbbell complex. That was 1. That was 2. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then each rep of the dumbbell complex is going to look like this. That was 1. That was 2. So let's all join in here. Let's do 5 reps of this dumbbell complex. So the dumbbell complex is going to start from the ground. Each time we're going to hit that power clean and then hit that big lunge step. And notice how twin 1 has the protection underneath the knee there in the form of a mat, or perhaps maybe you have some knee sleeves. But either way, we want to soften the blow for that knee. And we're hitting that clean right into the lunge on each leg for each rep of this complex. Now, it could be that we were doing step-ups in the warm-up. And so just like Millicent's over here, we're going to hit that clean right into 2 step-ups. And then that's going to be a modification for this complex using the step-ups. A good job here on this dumbbell complex. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been doing this program long enough to earn your first badge, and you'd like to start adding some weight to this dumbbell complex to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 1 to 2 reps of this complex at a time until we get to the weight that we want to use for the workout. But if we have not earned our first badge, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. Seriously. It's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all of our habits, as evidenced by earning that badge, before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. Let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important, super personal. We all have different tastes in music. This is not a short one today. So you want to make sure you've got a playlist full of jams that are going to push you and motivate you to get as many rounds as possible. So if you haven't thought about your playlist yet, let's get that playlist queued up. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? Those dumbbells are going to be flying. We're going to be doing lots of calories on the bike. It's going to be easy to lose track of where we are, how much work we've got done. So let's have some type of system in place to let us know where we are without getting lost and to help us keep track of all the work we're doing. Something that helps with that is having the workout written down close by. So if you're a teacher's pet like Mighty Mouse, with the workout written down and the scorecard ready, she's getting ready to check off all those boxes. We've got Millicent with the scorecard as well. And then we've got Twin One with the Whiteboard Companion Award today. And then, of course, we've got Team DNA with Dean's signature handwriting over there. Let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time here, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer. And we're about to do this 20-minute AMRAP. That's as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes of 15 calories on the bike, 10 toes to bar, and 5 sets of the dumbbell complex. So for the bike, most of us are doing the body weight version of that bike. We're going to do 15 sets of the mountain climbers and plank shoulder taps on each side to start off each round. If you do happen to have your own bike and whatever you just got in that 1-minute test, that's going to be a good number, or 15, whatever is the less of those two, in order to do the right amount of bike each round. We want that bike to take us a minute, no more than 90 seconds, even when we get tired. On the toes to bar, most of us are going to be doing those toes to broom. Now, if you happen to have a pull-up bar and you're still working on getting your toes to the bar, then we can do those hanging knee raises or even hanging straight leg raises. But whatever we feel, we could do at least 3 to 5 reps in a row without coming down. And that's going to be a good modification for the toes to bar. And on these dumbbell complexes, we're doing 5 sets of that power clean, lunge, lunge to finish off each round. So 1 rep of the complex is that power clean right into those 2 lunges. We're doing 5 sets of those each round. So your score is going to be the amount of rounds you get done in these 20 minutes of the 15 mountain climber plank shoulder taps, the 10 toes to broom, whether it's double leg or single leg, and the 5 sets of the dumbbell complex. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up here and we'll get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown, and then I'm going to highlight Noxie to get us going. So here we go, guys. 15 mountain climber plank shoulder taps, 10 toes to broom, 5 dumbbell complexes, which is the clean into the lunge on each side. 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these 15 mountain climber plank shoulder taps. And Noxie's like, hey, let's get going here. And there we go. And whether we're doing this off the ground or off the incline or from the seated position, whatever version is better for us. And we are hitting this jump, jump, tap, tap, 15 sets of this at the start of each round. And if we could jump most of these, awesome. But if we need to step most of them, that is acceptable as well. And let's remember to get full range of motion on those arms there, Mighty Mouse. And so we're starting one at a time, arm, arm, tap, tap. There we go. Boom, boom. Starting from all the way down, getting that all the way up. And we got Millicent from the incline, getting the incline knees to elbow and the plank shoulder taps. And she's already through all 15 there. Moving on to some single leg raises now. So she is deciding to do single leg raises, which is another awesome option for the core. And we got Twin One doing the double leg toe to broom. Mighty Mouse on this toe to broom from the seated position. And then we've got Team DNA sharing the space, being safe. So Anita choosing to do those single leg raises. And we got Iron Man Dean watching out for Noxie, hitting the double leg toe to broom. But nice work here, guys. We're getting through the 10 reps of this. And then we're going to move on to the dumbbell complexes. So we got Twin One about to hit that clean. Boom, into these lunges. And that was 1 rep of the complex. Tap that ground. hit it again. And so we are doing 5 reps of this clean lunge. And that is going to round out round 1 for most of us. So awesome work here, guys. Good pacing on all these elements. And we got Millicent diving into round 2 here. Twin one just about rounding out that first round and then about to jump in to round 2. Mighty Mouse already on round 2. DNA finishing off the last couple reps of that complex. And so far, everyone here is on track to finish within today's target window. And these target windows are the best guide to make us choose the right weights and the right movement options. And so how do the windows work? Well, before we start earning badges, we're not adding weight, we're doing the flex options and weights. But then as we start earning badges, we may start to experiment with using the scaled, intermediate, or RX weights for these workouts, or maybe a combination of those options. How do we know which are the right options for us? Well, whatever options allow us to finish within the target window. That is going to be the version of the workout that helps us to get the intended stimulus and to progress the right way. So most of us are deep into this second round, done with that bike, about to hit these toe to broom, about to hit this core. Whether we're doing those single leg raises, the toe to broom, whether that's single leg or double leg, we've got lots of different options here. Deep breath in, bracing that core, reaching for the top. But nice work here, guys. Reaching toward those toes. And let's keep those legs as straight as possible. And we know that this is challenging, especially on the flexibility, along with the core strength. And that's why this move is such a powerful developer of the core. And then after these toe to broom, we're hitting these complexes here. We got Millicent doing the clean right into those step ups. Five sets of this complex. Clean lunge, or clean step up. And let's take a bigger step on those lunges there, Dean. We want to make sure that we got the knee over the foot there. There we go. We don't want, a narrow angle there. We want that knee to track over the middle of that foot. And we're also stepping slightly to the side for stability. So great pace here, guys. Most of us closing out round 2. We got a number of us going into round 3 here. Anita choosing to do some incline bike, knee to elbow plank shoulder taps. We've got lots of different options here, guys. And let's remember, we can mix and match these options throughout the workout as needed. Maybe we started with one and we need to switch to another one. If we feel the fatigue setting in too much, the longer we do this program, the more we can challenge ourselves to stick to the more challenging movement options all through the workout. But whatever we feel we need, especially as far as safety is concerned, let's choose the options that are good for us. But nice work here. Most of us deep into this third round. Step, step, tap, tap. Doing what we gotta do. And maybe we're still able to jump out these mountain climbers. Maybe we need to step some. Whatever the case, we want to keep moving. It's better to step some out if needed, as opposed to jump, jump, stop, stop. Let's just keep moving. Some of us getting into the core of the third round, whether we're doing the single leg raise or the toe to broom or whatever that ends up being. But nice work here. We're breathing, we're moving. All the way up. Reaching toward those toes. Whether it's the single leg or the double leg, or whether we're doing the lying leg raises there, we got lots of different options. And let's hit that clean if we're on that complex, using the power of the hips and the legs, getting those elbows nice and high, just like we see Anita doing here. We want to point those elbows forward and up. Boom. Notice how that dumbbell is going up in a nice straight path. When we're using the legs and the hips to jump that up, get that to the shoulders, and then hit these lunges. Nice work here, guys. We're getting through it. Breathing in, hitting these cleans, getting this done. So a number of us closing out the third round here. Going to be moving into the fourth in just a second. And we are definitely in a flow state here, guys. Those who've been doing this program for a while know that we have lots of different types of workouts. We've got longer ones, we've got shorter ones. They all help us to develop different aspects of our fitness. So in a longer one like today, we're definitely pacing ourselves from the start. We're not coming out too hard, too fast. We're picking a pace that we can maintain and even build and go faster as we get toward the end. But we are staying the course here, moving nice and steady. And on a nice long workout like this, I'm going to give you a 3-minute warning as we get toward the end, where we can really kick it in gear and see if we can empty the tank to get a whole other full round at that point. But let's keep moving nice and steady, holding on to that pace, doing our thing. We're breathing, pushing, getting through it. Awesome work here, guys. Breathing deep. And we've talked about breathing here. How we breathe makes a big difference as well. Oddly enough, a good trick to help us to get enough oxygen is to think about our exhale more than our inhale. And so, of course, we want to inhale to brace that core, but we want to really have a nice strong exhale, which will help us to naturally get a lot more oxygen flow on that natural inhale that follows. And so on these toe to bar, we're taking that nice deep breath in before the rep, but we're breathing out hard at the top. So that that next inhale just kind of happens naturally. So we breathe in before the rep, but more importantly, let's think about breathing out hard. And as we hit these complexes here, same idea. Nice deep breath before the clean. But then we are breathing out hard at the top. Before we hit those lunges, nice deep breath in as well. Breathing out hard at the top. And then that helps us with every hard exhale to have a natural, steady inhale. We're moving nice and steady through these rounds here, guys, hitting this complex. And let's remember to use the power of the legs on the clean there. Let's really jump that up with the hips, flip those elbows. Much better, Dean. Hitting that jump. We are jumping this up with the power of those hips, getting those dumbbells to the shoulders. Hitting the clean, hitting the lunges, hitting these step ups. So a number of us closing out round 3, going into this round 4 here. Definitely on track to finish within the window. Doing good here, guys. Still moving nice and steady, not moving too fast, but not moving too slow. Just staying the course, trucking along, doing what we gotta do. Let's hit these cleans. Let's hit these lunges. If we're on this bike, let's keep going through this bike. Nice and steady. Breathing well. Moving through it. Awesome work here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Doing what we gotta do, jumping as much as we can, stepping as needed. Nice strong exhales here. The inhale will take care of itself. And on these toe to broom or leg raises or whatever we're doing, let's keep those legs nice and straight there. Reaching toward those toes or at least those ankles. And time flies when we're having fun here, guys. We are almost at that 3-minute warning. Let's hold on to this pace just a little longer. Let's stay the course. Hitting these cleans, hitting these lunges, using the power of the hips to pop that up, pop and flip on these cleans. Moving steady, doing our best. Let's hit that breathe. Let's hit that clean. Full range of motion here. And this complex, I'm sure I'm going to hear about it more in the high-low buffalo, but it definitely is a way that helps us to keep that intensity high. Because sometimes when we're hitting big sets of just one thing, we have to kind of slow down. But with this complex, we're hitting that clean, we're hitting that lunge, no reason to slow down, right? We're just going right into that next thing. And just like that, guys, we are past it. We are in the 3-minute warning here, just about 2:40 left. So this is where we want to empty the tank. This is where we want to do our best to see if we can make it right back where we are right now. If we're on this complex, we're going to go all the way around, get back to this complex. If we're on this bike, we're going to finish a whole round, get back to that bike. If we're on these tote broom or whatever the case, let's empty the tank. Let's see if we can go one more lap around this thing. Get a whole other full round in here. Every single rep counts. So let's breathe hard. Let's move. Let's do what we gotta do. In the jump, jump, tap, tap. Let's keep breathing. Let's keep pushing. And we got just about 1 more minute left here. We're pushing hard. We're moving well. But we are now moving with no regrets. This is an AMRAP, meaning as many rounds and reps as possible. So we want to know we did absolutely everything we could. Less than a minute, 40 seconds. Let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving. And we are on this here, guys. 20 more seconds. Let's get another rep. Let's get another rep. Let's get another rep. 10 seconds. Three, two, one, and it's time. Man, believe it or not, 20 minutes gone, and DNA couldn't be happier. They're hitting that Hasselhoff happy dance. We got Mighty Mouse on that happy dance. We got Millicent on that happy dance. And we got Twin One jumping for joy on that happy dance as well. But now we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. This stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch that we're going to do today is the saddle eagle stretch. Now, it helps to start the saddle from a kneeling position, and then we are going to sit back toward those heels, and then we're going to get one elbow on top of the other like this. Now, if we can't sit all the way back toward the heels, if this is all we got, hey, that's cool as well. But we're doing what we can to sit as far back as we can. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. So, high. What is one thing you feel you did well in today's workout? Low. What is something you want to do better the next time it shows up? And buffalo. What is something that surprised you about today's workout? While we're thinking about that, let's switch elbows here. We're getting the other elbow on top of the other like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Twin One. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're doing just the eagle part of the stretch like this with the elbows. But what is your high-low buffalo Twin One?
So I think my high was the dumbbell complex. The low was the mountain climbers with the plank shoulder taps. Low. And then buffalo was, I got one more round in than I thought I was gonna get. I was really surprised about it because this workout was hard.
It was hard, but I'll tell you what helped you to get that extra round was how you fly through those mountain climber plank shoulder taps that you secretly love so much. And so good job there, twin one. And let's go ahead and move on to the pigeon here. We got the one leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into this pose like this, opening up the hips. And while we're over here, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're getting the one elbow up and pulling to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was that dumbbell complex, but my low was the calorie bites because that extra move. I was trying to remember how to. I was used to doing it the other way, and I was trying to keep remembering to do the extra move that you put in there today. But other than all, it was a hard workout, but I'm sweating and it was good.
Anything we can do to rein you in and keep moving super fast, Mighty Mouse, we got to make this more challenging for you, but you keep rising to the challenge. And let's go ahead and hit the pigeon on the other side now. We got the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into this pose like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from DNA. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're getting the other elbow up and pulling to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, DNA?
So my high was probably the dumbbell complex. The low, my leg is still very funny from the workout I did the other day. So doing those lunges and the mountain climbers were quite, challenging. And the buffalo, that despite all that, I was really happy that I was able to do this workout. Thankfully, I'm really thankful for all those modifications, so I could do the full workout.
So the high for me was the dumbbell complex as well. The low was obviously the mountain climbers because I had to do them off the counter after the first set because I'm not very good at them, to be honest about it, and I prefer burpees than those. And the buffalo was Noxie being on the camera participating in the workouts. He always joins, he always does the stretches at the ends, and he's always rooting for us.
Rooting for you, and of course keeping an eye to make sure you're doing all the reps and not shorting anything, all right? And that's why we love Noxie and of course all our furry friends. But good job, guys. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. Let's go ahead and hit this sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fists in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, Fit Crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Fit Crew. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.